Welcome to the Bump in the Night Society presents Exploring Your Society. I'm your host, Sean Bowman. I'm here with
Phil. Oh, sorry,
Phil.
Okay. My bad.
Who's with us tonight?
Nobody.
Crue of Darkness Paranormal, Barb and Chris. Why don't you guys say what's up?
Hi.
Hey.
We got Chuck.
Yes.
There's Chuck.
Rocking the bump shirt. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I gotta work on a better countdown video. I just use their generic one. I'm not a big fan of it, but I've just been using it recently. I'm gonna make something better. Maybe we'll put Bumpy in there or something.
There you go.
Hey, Bumpy goes wild, man. I'm telling you, Brad.
There was a good picture of him taking that Mansfield.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic.
Pole dancing Bumpy.
Well, I took a picture of him and Jen when they were walking down.
Hey, man.
Bumpy was in the bathtub last week at Greenville.
I seen.
Hey, you know what? This guy does not know how to knock. You know. Gosh.
So why don't you guys tell us about Crue of Darkness Paranormal? When did you guys get started?
Well, let's see. It started back, I think it was about 10 years ago. Me and my friend Amy went to Mansfield prison together. And it just kind of stemmed from there. We enjoyed it so much, and we're like, well, why don't we start, investigating together? Start up a little team. Got a few people together, and at one point we went on a investigation. It was on the other side of Ohio. It was a 4-H camp, and someone backed out at the last minute. So we had an extra spot, and Amy's like, well, do you care if I ask my friend Chris? I'm like, I don't care. Sure, go ahead. And
Here I am.
And I'm like, I don't know about this one, but
I thought she was a bitch.
but I think before the weekend was over, we already hit it off great, and she was a great addition to the team. And of course, my daughter Madison's on the team, Amy, and Nancy. So there's 5 of us girls.
Awesome. So are you all from Ohio?
Yep.
Wow.
Any football fans or no?
Not no more.
Was hoping Mikey was on.
Yeah, Mikey's on there. He's on the comments.
Hey,
there.
Mikey.
You mentioned Bumpy helicopter dance intro.
I mean, at least you're not Browns fans, right?
No.
I gave up.
I wonder how they've been doing, the Browns. I don't know.
Their quarterback situation's ridiculous right now.
Well, yeah, they got rid of Baker, and now we have a felon.
Yeah.
You can't play for over a year, right?
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see what happens there for sure.
Yeah, they're waiting for his sentencing for abuse or something like.
Oh, jeez.
That's right. Gotta have the cheese head.
Oh, man. How did you guys get your name, by the way? I like it.
Well, Amy is a huge Motley Crue fan.
There we go.
When we were thinking of names, I'm like, you know what? Hey, let's incorporate your crew. So, Crue of Darkness. There it is.
Here it is.
Oh, awesome.
There it is.
I take it you're a Motley Crue fan.
Yes, we are.
I'm going Thursday.
Are you?
Right there,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah. It's Joan Jett, Poison, Motley, Def Leppard, and Motley Crue.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yes, I've seen Bret Michaels before because he performed at the Butler County Fair, which is out our way.
Yeah, I've seen Poison and Motley Crue. I mean, Poison and Def Leppard a lot of times. Okay. I haven't seen Motley Crue, and I have not seen Joan Jett. I'm the odd one out. I'm all excited about seeing Joan Jett, but that's just dating myself.
Hey. See, I'd go specifically for Def Leppard. They're probably my favorite out of all those guys.
Yeah, they're good.
You just want somebody to pour some sugar on you, Phil.
There you go. There's a TikTok poll video there.
Oh no, I
I
feel like
feel- Yeah.
So what were your guys' like first paranormal experiences?
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, mine's been since I've been little, since before I was even in school.
Oh wow.
My stepdad lived in this old town, and we rented a house from there. I wasn't even in kindergarten yet, and they rented it because my stepdad was in the Navy, so we moved around a lot. And my brother and I used to talk about a lady that lived in this room that was just storage, and she just used to come to me all the time, and she still follows me around. When I have good things happen in my life, bad things happen in my life, she's there. So she's been with me for a long time.
Okay.
And then it's just been continually on ever since. So
What about you, Barb?
I had some experiences when I was a kid too. I don't really like to talk about it too much because people look at me like I'm completely insane. But
We've heard some crazy stories.
Yeah, you're good.
when I was younger, my dad worked third shift, so I would climb into my mom's bed a lot, as a kid. And I remember waking up at one point and looking down, and I kid you not, I thought I saw like this little troll looking thing next to the bed. And I just, as a kid, you cover up your head, you try to go hide under the covers, and that was that. Well, I never said anything because I was scared and I thought, was I dreaming? What was it? Well, years later, I think I was probably 15, 16, my parents bought me these Time magazine books on fairies and different cryptids and stuff like that. And I turned to a page in this book and boom, there he was. And I'm like, oh, God, no way. What are who knows? But yeah, so that started it for me. And just as a kid, just fascinated by ghosts and everything. And then just having experiences as I got older. My first apartment, I had crazy experiences in there and just went from there.
That's crazy. What are some of the craziest experiences you guys had since becoming a team?
Oh. Well, it's probably when I first met Barb, when we were at that 4-H camp.
Yeah.
The lady that worked there was walking us around, telling us where we could go and where we couldn't go, because it was still an active camp. They still had campers there, and they'd have band camps and stuff. And so it was Barb and Amy, Madison, and myself. We were hanging behind the group, and Barb, the four of us were at the end of the group, and we were in the boys' cabin, and we were walking out, and we got behind the rest of the group, and we got to like that big stand where the drum major would be at. And I said, we need to come back here later tonight when it's dark. And they're looking at me like, why? And as we got up to the group, the lady was telling everybody how people see a little girl walk around that stand. So they looked at me like I was a little crazy. Just a little.
Hey.
So later on in the night, everybody was split up in their groups, and the four of us ended up in that cabin again. And we radioed in to everybody meet at the cabin because we were spending the night there. And the girls' cabin was across the field, and we could see the cabin. So we shut off all our equipment, no light, nothing, because we're just walking across the field. We could see the cabin. And it was like a drum. At first, I thought it was an animal in the woods, and we were like, "What the hell?" And it could get louder, and it was like a Civil War drum that, and it was in our face,
and it was getting closer, and it was like it was marching towards us,
and we just were like, boom, we're gone. And as soon as we took off, it just stopped. Well, then later in the night, Amy went to bed, and there was another group of us, and we were in the main building where there was a boys' side and a girls' side. So we were in the boys' side, and we walked. You had to get in there from the outside. So we were the boys' side, walked down, walked around the building, walked up the stairs, and Madison was the first one, and then it was me. She opens up the door and she's like, "Oh my God." We're like, "Oh shit, this isn't going to be good." Well, they were getting ready for Halloween, so there was a scarecrow in the corner. That's what it was. Scared the shit out of her. But she was fascinated with that corner for whatever reason. I had my back to the door that we came into, and across the room there was a doorway with a balcony that you could look down into the dining area. But there was a really long mirror to the left of it, and Maddie's still taking pictures of that corner. And all of a sudden she takes this picture and she turns and looks at me and she's like, "Chris, do you feel like anybody's behind you?" I'm like, "No." In the picture you see like a soldier with the drum across the bands going across him was standing right behind me.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh my
I don't know. And then probably maybe Hillview when we had that crawler.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hillview's out.
Did
Yeah.
you see the infamous creeper or whatever?
Yeah.
Yes. Once again, it was with Maddie.
Oh,
I think it's got to be her daughter.
You track stuff, I think. Yeah.
she's a conduit, probably.
See, I've never seen the creeper at Hillview, but there's been a couple people that have been with us before that there was like two different people that came with us, and they both claimed that they saw something, end up leaving, and stay the rest of the night.
We didn't see it. We were upstairs and where the beauty shop is, like in the corner. But we had met this young couple. They had never ghost hunted before, and all they had was their phone, using it for a light. So we asked them to, if they wanted to come with us. And I don't know where he went, but it was her and Madison and I. And for some reason, we just sat down on the wall, and we're looking into where the men's room, looking into that. And all of a sudden, we just heard it run up the back of the wall. And this young girl looks at me. She looks like she's going to die. She looks at us, and Maddie and I are like, "Holy shit." It went back down the wall and then right back up the wall. But you could hear it like nails scratching going up the wall. And it was insane. It was pretty.
And what was weird with that is while that was going on, old teen member of ours, John, and I had a thermal, and we were going down that hallway right to the side, and I caught. It's really fast on the video, but you'll see like a hand come up, but there's more than 5 fingers on it.
And they're just long.
Yeah, very strange, but it's really quick, and it comes up at the camera, and it wasn't my hands, and John was about 10, 15 feet away from me because my hands were on the camera.
Yeah.
So I have no way to explain what.
And it happened at the same time.
Yeah.
That thing was rolling up the back of that wall.
It was weird.
That's crazy.
Katie said something about Greenville, actually.
Oh.
We were talking to Greenville right before we even started recording, so they got to retell their stories.
Hey, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Do it.
Yeah, Greenville's definitely doesn't disappoint. If people haven't been there, go check it out. That's something else.
And if you've been there, go back again because it's not going to be the same.
Right.
Nope.
Right. Like you said, Chris, the first time we went there, it was a darker feeling. It was more heavy. Tell them what we were talking about earlier, Chris.
Oh, about when we were upstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were sitting. Barb had her back against the wall where the stairs are, and I was sitting in a chair outside by the door. And Barb said, "I feel like somebody's standing next to me." And she was and it was black. All we had was the 360 light. And I said, "Is there somebody next to Barb?" And it was like this man ran at me, like bent down, like so he could be face to face with me. It was like old man, like with the old 50s hat on. So then we were like, "Do you want us to leave?" And the 360 just lit up, and we were like, "We're out." We're out of here. We're gone.
Oh man, Greenville Manor is just a beautiful place in general.
It's beautiful.
I mean, heck, whenever Sean and I were there, when was it, last Saturday or something like that? We were just, shooting the evidence reveal, and oh yeah, you're always hearing stuff, always something going on.
It's crazy. It's just insane how much activity is in there, and how different it is from each visit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think a lot of that too has to do with the energy you bring in, like we were talking earlier, like Chris said, we were, when we were taking pictures outside, we're goofing around, having a good time. And then Marcus downstairs having his live video and, just amping it up. And then we go upstairs that next time and we're up on the 3rd floor and we're like, all right, let's try some music. And we put the Bee Gees on, Staying Alive. And he was going nuts. The REM pod was going off. And, we tried different music too. So it's not like it was the music activating anything. Yeah. We tried ABBA. They didn't like ABBA.
They didn't like ABBA much.
No, they did like the Bee Gees.
Yeah. We were trying to stay in, like the 70s vibe,
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely got to go with the time period of the stuff. Like we had something at Trans-Allegheny before. And have you guys ever been to Trans-Allegheny?
No. The bucket list.
Well, there's a room there called the Bedpost Murder Room, and this guy got murdered by a bedpost. Like they put it on the guy's head and smashed the bed and killed the guy. Anyway, that happened in the 80s. So like me and Jen were playing different types of music, and she wanted to play like older stuff like Elvis and Johnny Cash and stuff like that. And I was asking him, I was like, if you want to hear something specific, like light a REM pod up or whatever. So we played that shit. Nothing happened. I played Madonna and it started going off. And Jen's like, why is it going off on Madonna? And I was like, he died in the 80s. Like she was around in the 80s, like that's probably like she used to listen to Madonna or whatever.
Right.
But, I like using music at different locations. It seems like we get a pretty decent reaction.
You do. And like when we were at Greenville too, when Eddie Pence had his box up, we'd ask for a key, like D or whatever. And the key came up on Eddie's box and we Googled what's the D key sound like, and it was just like it. And then we asked for another key. It was crazy. We were all like, oh my gosh.
That's like one of the things. He
also had his box up on the 2nd floor, that back room that's got like blue carpet in it or something. Everybody says it feels pretty heavy in there.
Yeah.
He had his box on the floor and we're like, okay, what could we say specifically to try to get something to happen?
Right.
And we said, do you know the Charlie Brown song? And we got that da-da-da right on the box. And it's like,
now did you talk like the mom, like womp womp womp?
Well, that's how she asked it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, cool. The Charleston.
That's actually Jen. I don't know if it just says Facebook
Jen.
user for you or not, but
yeah, it does.
That's so funny.
That's cool.
Man. What
a lot happens like that with music, and even just sometimes when you're having conversations, you seem to they want to be involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, if you're not trying to interact with them, they're like, hey, we're here.
See, we've had a lot of interactions with music at Hillview. Like we always play music when we're in the chapel, try to play like something like Amazing Grace or something like that or whatever.
Right.
But we've gotten a lot of stuff from that. Like the one time we were there, like I thought I heard crying next to me.
Yeah.
Or no, coughing. I thought I heard coughing next to me. I kind of mixed this up because Jen actually started crying, and that's why I said crying. But like, because the emotion of the place, there's probably somebody, funerals have been held there and everything else. But...
Right. You never know what you're going to pick up on. And I think one thing that really sticks out for me, and now I kick myself because we the three of us, me, Chris, and Nancy, last October, we went to Wilson Castle.
Okay.
And it was amazing and beautiful. The owners,
the three of us in that big ass castle.
Oh, the staff was great. But let me tell you, I had one of the. I don't even know how to explain the experience because I get scared, but I don't get this scared. And I was sitting on the floor in one of the rooms. Chris was on the bed. Nancy was in a chair behind me by the fireplace. And we didn't have any lights on except for there was a light on the wall in the hallway. So you saw the shadow of the light in the hallway in the room.
Right.
And I'm sitting on the floor and I keep seeing a shadow, like something was walking in. I thought Nancy got up behind me and was going to come around. So I was waiting for her to come around the corner. She didn't. I turn around, she's sitting there. And I'm like, okay. So I just sitting there and I'm looking at the floor and I'm kind of tilting my head because I'm like, am I causing a shadow? What am I seeing?
Yeah.
But I kept seeing like shadows walking in this room, one after another, and I'm thinking I'm losing my mind. I'm like, nothing's coming in the room, and she sees me tilting around, and she's like, "Barb, are you okay?" And I'm like, I don't know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing shadows walking in the room, but nothing's coming in the room. The only thing I could make of it is there's a dress in the room.
And that's what started it.
Yeah.
I had my dowsing rods and I asked about the dress.
Right. And I don't know if it was the mother's room, wasn't it, Chris? Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
It almost to me felt like people were coming in like a funeral procession, like they were mourning this woman. That's what I made of it. It didn't scare me like I had to run away scared. It just was a completely unusual experience that I couldn't make heads or tails of. And we were like, okay, let's go take a break. But before we went downstairs, we went into another room and Chris had.
Well, because I have light up dowsing rods, and my one rod light went out on it. It just stopped working.
Oh, geez.
While all of that was going on.
Okay.
And well, because I had the dowsing rods and I asked to where the dress was at and to point to the dress, and it did. The light went out, and that's when she started seeing all the shadows.
Yeah, it was weird. But then before we went downstairs to take a break, we went in the room next door, which was supposed to be the son's room, and Chris had an experience in that room.
Yeah, Barb and Nancy they were by themselves, and I walked into the room and went to the right, to the corner, and I was sitting in a chair, and Barb's still like, this is just not right. And I felt like somebody was coming and trying to hug me. It was like laid across my back. And I was like, oh. And I got up and I moved over to by Nancy and Barb, and it did it again. Because they said the mother up there was like very motherly, like tried to make everybody feel better. And I think she was worried that we were scared and was just trying to make us feel better. And our friend Nancy doesn't sense or feel anything. She's like, both of them are freaked out. I think I should be worried.
Yeah, it was just unusual, So at that point, we're like, well, let's go take a break. So we're down in the kitchen and we're talking about it, and I'm like packing my stuff as we're, talking, and I just could not bring myself to get comfortable after that. I was done. And then I'm like, oh my God, I left my cat balls up there. So the three of us are walking up the stairs like Scooby-Doo, and them guys, like, let's go, we can do this, go get the cat balls, then we're gone. But it was such a bummer because we could have stayed until I think it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and here we are at 3, like done.
We're out. And it was weird because she had her camera set up, and there's a pool table up there, so we were playing pool. We were just trying to act like what would be going on there, because it's the original pool table.
This is before all this happened.
That was before all of that. And her camera went out and it just stopped. It wouldn't do anything. So would you think your card was full?
Yeah, it was weird. It was acting really strange. I don't know. It just stopped recording, and it's like every time you want to hope to catch something, nope, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go up to Wilson Castle, definitely go do it.
Yeah, me and Jen have taken pictures outside of it before. Because I think we were at House of Wills, because it's by House of Wills, right? Like, and that's.
Oh no, it's in Vermont.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
No, I'm thinking of a different castle. Though.
Yeah, you're thinking Franklin Castle.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, but yeah, you can go there. Not allowed to talk about it.
Loveland Castle, I think, is the only castle we've been to.
That's true. And
How was
was
that?
beautiful.
It was really cool, actually. Like, we had some poltergeist stuff happen, actually, involving me, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, Sean got thrown backwards into a door. It was the weirdest thing ever. I'm like, how does this 6'2" man just go?
He's bullshitting you. No, we had like one of our cameras get knocked over or whatever, and it's on film. But you at Pickle Jar, Phil, you had some woman get thrown just recently.
Yeah, it was crazy. This was in the third floor, the basement floor, rather. It's kind of dirty and
Where were you?
Pickle Jar Antiques. It's in Rochester, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we were doing the whole spirit box session, I believe, and I had my camcorder facing Mikey, and a girl named Georgia, who was one of the ones that worked there, she was on the next to me, kind of, so she was kind of facing where I was at, so it was like a triangle kind of thing, and then I forget what Mikey said, and all of a sudden you hear a big bang. And then you hear Mikey yell, "Holy shit!" And I looked over, and he's on the ground in like a fetal position. I'm like,
"Oh gosh,
okay." That just happened, and I
was ready to book it out of there too.
You know what? I was only because I think like the reaction of him to her freaked me out, and I was like, "Oh crap! Now what's going to happen?" But I toughened up and stayed there.
Phil wants to run away from shit. I want to go to it because after that, like I wanted to do my solo down there. I went down there, but we didn't have very like reception for it.
Yeah, it was a moment of oh crap, what the hell's going on? But you know what? That was really the only moment where I was kind of like, holy shit, like freaked out a little bit. But like the rest of the night was just amazing. So I think it was just like his reaction, seeing that happen. I was like, oh, I've never saw that before. Holy hell, I don't know how to process this. But
that's how I felt at Wilson. You don't know what you can't make heads or tails of it, and it throws you off. That I've never had it happen to me that much to where I wouldn't go back and investigate.
Yeah,
and I kick myself now because when am I going to get to Vermont? We'll see. But
and I'm happy that I didn't see you guys later. Didn't do any of that stuff. I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. But that was really
You've toughened up a little bit, Phil, for sure.
Yeah, I have. And I'll admit too, and I always admit this to everybody that we talk with. Like, I'm the more I don't want to say freaked out, but I'm a little bit more timid when it comes to certain things. Just because I don't know. I always tell people there's always that one person that's a little bit more, And I was like, there's no shame in that. But the more you do it, you realize that, well, I know nothing's going to hurt me, so screw it.
Right.
And I like Mikey's comment. But no, it was good. It turned out really well, and it was a really, really solid night. We had a lot of activity there too. So
yeah, that's cool.
Good. And I'm getting a little bit more braver with certain things now. Like Sean said, not to the point that I'd like to be, but it's slowly creeping up. So
we're just gonna leave Phil by himself sometime.
And you're learning different ways of doing things. You see. That's one thing I love about investigating with different people is, you get to see their methods or different ways of looking at things or what one thing could mean as opposed to something else, because you're always looking at it one way and someone else might have a better direction to say, well, maybe that's not what they're trying to say to you. Maybe they're trying to say this to you or,
Exactly. I kind of felt bad for her, because, but then again, it was dark.
Yeah, she's lucky she didn't get hurt, honestly.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, she just took it like a champ. She's like, yeah, I'm fine. Something just pulled me. And then we just both all continued on. And wow, I would have been in the back, I don't know what the hell, But I think anybody gets pulled is like, yeah, that's fine. But sorry, I got a little tangent there.
So we talked about how you guys met. How did you guys meet us?
That's kind of a good question other than getting invited to Crescent by April. So I think that's how we all met, obviously was there, but I don't know how I met April. I know we became friends on Facebook and started talking one time. I don't know where it all came from to begin.
Well, that's when you guys invited us to go to Crescent, I was like, well, that's really weird. He's like, 3 weeks ago, I had posted Crescent on our paranormal page as a bucket list. Okay. And 3 weeks later, Barb's like, hey, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And Jen works with a girl that I know through a friend as well. It's crazy how that works. Small world, especially since we're in 2 different states. What are the chances?
Yeah, there's Tony too. Tony came on that trip with us too.
Yep.
We really all didn't get to investigate that much together because, the night, the snow,
it was brutal.
I was done, and I'm like, oh, I got to drive all the way back to that other place. I'm not familiar with the roads. I'm like, gotta move. So I didn't get to see as much of it as I would like to. I definitely want to go back.
Well, anytime that Mikey's good to go, it's a bad night because he wanted to leave and he never wants to leave.
So. I know. He's usually the 5 o'clock in the morning kind of guy. I'm like a 2 a.m, and this is, I'm like, I don't know how you do it, man.
Yeah, the roads were so bad.
Barb
Oh,
rode,
it's awful.
Barb rode the rumble strips the whole way. So she
did.
was
did. I was like, I don't want to slide down that hill.
Yeah, I think
But,
me and Jen stopped at Sheets, and then we didn't get home. I think it was like after 5 by the time we got home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And then when even at the place, just trudging through the snow to go in between the buildings and everything, you're like, oh my God, my pants are soaked. I'm cold.
And
It was like a literal blizzard, especially being up on the hill too.
yeah. Well, I went live when we left the main building. I went live, and people were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, we're ghost hunting in the snow. What else would we be doing? But Barb and what was her name? Mancini.
Yeah, Mancini.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Mancini.
When we went to the other building, it was just the 3 of us, and we were on the bottom floor, and we just kept hearing this noise. And she says, "Well, it's probably the wind coming down through the pipe, the
Underground
exhaust
tunnel
and all
or
that
something.
stuff."
Yeah.
Well, Barb kept seeing something on that second tier in this one doorway. And I'm like, well, let's go up there. So we go up there, and Barb kept seeing something with her thermal camera. And, we got a couple things up there, but it wasn't. And then we walked around the whole second tier up there, and then we went back downstairs, and we were sitting there, and all of a sudden we kept hearing that noise again. And I was like, wait a minute. I go, it didn't do that when we were up there. It was like he wanted us to go up there. And the thing is, she's like, oh my God, you're right. And as soon as we hit that top, the top step to that next deck, it just stopped. And we didn't think about it until we got back downstairs to the main floor. And that noise that came, and it was in the same, where the same room was that we went into, the same, the cell. It was crazy.
Yeah, we didn't really have a ton happen at Crescent. Like, I can only really remember 2 things.
Yeah.
And, one was with you, Phil, and Jen and Troy.
That was a good night. That was a really
which was in Rich and Callinger's cell, the serial killer over that area. They had some action over there, like the laser grid was going on and stuff like that, and they were doing the Estes method, and stuff was, I guess, responding to them. And then me and Mancini were wandering around that building too, and I don't know if you guys saw, I don't remember which building it is, but the one building had like a fake staircase that like went up to nowhere. Like it was like, well, whatever building that was, me and Mancini were like chilling in that area, and we could hear somebody walking above us, like where that staircase is, and there was nobody there, obviously.
Nothing there.
That's really the only 2 things we had happen at Crescent that I can remember.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good method when Troy was with us, when we went down to the ward or whatever. He was doing the Estes method, and we were actually getting some answers to questions he was asking. So that was pretty cool. Or questions we were asking, he was getting the answers to. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was cool.
I still have to listen to all my recordings. I got a new laptop, so I have to transfer it over and listen to all that. But
I'd like to go back there. Hopefully it'll be warmer next time.
Yeah, I would like to go there too.
That place is so massive. You need a couple days just to check everything out.
Yeah, you'd have to do it. You'd have to do a weekend there.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's like we've been there. What, I think 3 times during the day, and then once at night or whatever.
Yeah, it's all been cold.
Well, I still haven't been in every building there.
No.
After being there 4 different times or 3 different times over the holidays. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, and you guys ever been to Madison Seminary?
Love it there. Love it there. Oh, is that place beautiful?
That's about 15 minutes from my house, so that's nice.
Yeah. That was actually the first building I was ever touched at. We were at a MadCon, and we were upstairs in the asylum with Eddie Pence. And they had just brought in that hospital bed. It was like 2 p.m, so people had been in and out of there all day long, and I felt like I had spider webs like going down my arm, and I brushed my arm off, and then it did it again. And Eddie, I didn't know Eddie had seen it happening.
Yeah.
So then we go and we walk, and we're going down where the rooms are. We're right in front of the surgeon's room, and it went from my forehead down my head and down my neck, and I looked over at Barb. I'm like, I'm going downstairs.
Leave me up here.
And it wasn't until later Pence came down and he goes, "You got touched up there, didn't you?" I'm like, "Why?" Because I hadn't met him yet. That was the first time I'd ever met him. Why? And he goes, "Well, I seen how you reacted." I was like, "Yeah, dude, that was weird." And then my son had come home on leave, and I got a hold of Adam and asked if I could bring him there, my daughter, and my grandkids. And he's like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." So it was just Adam there, and then I was showing the kids around, and my granddaughter, I kept seeing her like flipping at her leg when we were up in the asylum, and I seen her talk to my daughter, and we came down, and Courtney goes, Kenzie kept seeing like she had like a cat was running around her. Like, I mean, they were little. This is like 3 years ago. She's 9 now, so we're taking you to a haunted place, you know. Well, awesome. She had scratches down her leg and the back of her calf. And Courtney told me, I was like, well, they think there's an animal up there, a cat or a dog also. But my granddaughter is huge with animals. All animals love her. But she said it just felt like a cat was like weaving in and out of her legs, like they do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to get out to Madison again. Like, we've only been there once. I think April's been twice, but we've only been once, the rest of us.
I love Madison.
Yeah, it doesn't disappoint very often. That's for sure. It's always active. I know every time my daughter's been on an investigation there, she's an EMT. And sometimes I think, like, we were giving tours and then we would do a ghost hunt after the tour. And we were up in the asylum area, and she got really, really quiet and wasn't responding. And I called her name, and she wouldn't even look up at me. So I walked over to her, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she could barely talk. So I'm like, "All right, let's get you out of here. Let's go downstairs." So took her out of the building, get her grounded, and she felt just like people were completely surrounding her and just breathing on her, like right in her face. So the only thing I could think of is when we were giving the tour, I was explaining that she was an EMT for some reason at some point. I can't remember why, but I think maybe they were coming to her for help, that was right in the area where the nurses would dispense pills, that type of thing. And with her being an EMT, were they coming to her because they thought maybe she could help her? I don't know, but yeah. So that was quite an interesting experience for her.
I'll say.
Yeah, we definitely need to get back. One thing is, I don't even think Mikey and Hannah weren't even with us, Phil, were they?
No, I don't think they.
Yeah, so they haven't even been there yet. So we definitely need to get back to Madison.
Yeah, it's definitely a good place for everybody to go, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of good places I'd love to revisit. I'd like to go back to the Inspiration House in Oberlin, Ohio. That place is beautiful.
Not been there yet either. I've heard good things about that.
Yeah.
It's more peaceful, I'd say, than anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's why I liked it so much. It just has that beautiful rustic feeling, And we were there just we did some investigating and just ate, relaxed, played games, and we got some good evidence too. I think
we had a lot of REM pod stuff there.
Yep. And I think Sean, the room that he and Jen, were in,
made babies in.
Yeah, right. Oh, baby. And I was in the room next to them, too, so I heard it all.
Bump
in the night.
Yeah, there was actually...
We're going to come up with bump in the night condoms. That was one of the things we were talking about.
Oh, my God, that'd be awesome.
I'll be the one who advertises them. This is how you use it, folks.
Dressed as Bumpy.
I was going to say Bumpy's going to have a whole new role.
Oh man, that's...
And Chuck could be next to you.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
I definitely want to get there.
Yeah, that's cool.
One of the cool things about Inspiration House was they have like a little museum too that has different artifacts and stuff in it, and actually held like a doll that was possessed. And we were doing like an S-Box session, and I don't remember exactly what it says, but it responded to Mikey like it was talking about me because I was holding it. So
okay,
that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know one. I wish we. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I think there was also a one that one of the things that we did in the room that Sean and Jen were in, where we had we were right by the door, and me and Mikey heard a very faint knock. We had the door closed, and we had the flashlight on the one dresser, and then we heard the knocking again after Mikey and I were like, "Can you please make that knocking again?"
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were going live, and Karma was talking with us, and and I think a bunch of other people were watching too, and they asked us to open up the door. So we opened it up, and then the flashlight went on. It was the coolest thing. It was like, it was so on command with our request. I just thought that was a really neat thing.
That is cool.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Barb, you can go. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just thinking of one of the ones we went to. I wish they still offered investigations, but they don't anymore. The Bisman building.
I was just going to say that.
What's it called?
What's it called?
The Bisman building. It was actually where they filmed they used it for part of Shawshank. If you're a big fan of that.
It's when he walked out, when he got out of jail. Or
yeah, it was like a halfway house.
Is that in the same area as Mansfield in that too, or?
What's that?
Is that in the same area as Mansfield, or?
It is. Yeah, it's in Mansfield. Okay. Beautiful old building, but we were there.
The same generation still owns it.
Yeah,
it's still in the same family.
That is so cool.
But it's huge, and it's got like warehouse space. I mean, the floors are like 10,000 square feet per floor in this building. But we were up on the second floor. It was me, Chris, Nancy. Who all was with it? Was it the three of us? Yeah, but there were only a couple of us when you were doing your dowsing rod session. Yeah. I think it was just me, you, and Nancy, maybe Madison. Yeah. But Chris was asking questions, and she was talking with her dowsing rods to supposedly the little girl that had passed in the building. But as she's asking questions, you'll hear, I caught an EVP. You hear Chris ask if she could straighten the rods back up, please. And right when she said that, I got, no, the little girl.
It is so cool.
Best EVP I've ever gotten.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. And it's so clear. It's so clear that you're like, somebody had to be standing there, but we didn't.
Yeah. Right. And it was crazy the morning after when I was listening to it, and everybody's sleeping. My daughter's at work, my husband's sleeping, whatever. I can't tell anybody. And I'm like, I don't want to message anybody and wake them all up because we were just in an investigation. I was so excited about it. I'm like, I have to wait to tell everybody.
Oh, it's so cool.
And that was the first place. Jackie had a 360, and I fell in love with that thing. And I'm like, I had to order it. I'm like, right away, I got to have one of these, because Jackie had it on the floor, and we were all sitting in a circle, and we were just asking different questions. And again, we believe we were talking to this little girl, and Jackie asked her, she goes, if you could you go around to each of us and give us each a hug? So as she said that, it took a little while, but the 360 lit up in front of each of us.
That's awesome.
All the way around the circle. So I was like,
I know.
Awesome.
I wish I would have got one.
Talking about that, what's your favorite equipment each one of you?
I was just about to ask that question. I was thinking like
for me, I used to have to, when I first started, I wanted to try I had to buy all the equipment, I wanted to try everything. But for me anymore, it's the 360, my recorder, and just my senses. I want to see stuff, I want to hear stuff, but that's my favorite stuff.
Well, you can't forget your handprint thing.
Oh yeah, my pad. You got to touch my pad. That was one of the first things I got. It was like this little gray pad that if you touched it and you had it cold or hot, it would change colors. So I would be carrying my pad everywhere. Here, are you going to touch my pad, please?
And then she got her pink box.
Oh, God. My pink box.
What's that, like an S-box?
Expand on the pink box. I have my pink construction belt that I carry all my equipment in.
And it's literally called a pink box.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's actually for women in construction, but it's perfect for holding all your gear.
In mine, I like my dowsing rods. She actually made me buy the light up once because she was tired of shining the flashlight on it when we were doing it. Mm-hmm. So I had to buy them. So Barb quit bitching.
Yeah. I'll find something else to bitch about.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
And I love her 360. I love her 360. I wish I would have got one, but it's kind of dumb for both of us to have each one. But
yeah, one of you guys just bought a pair of Lucid headphones, right?
Me?
Yeah, because I went out and bought some too.
That's really cool.
Have you got to use them yet?
No, I have not used them yet. I'll probably use them Saturday.
Yeah.
Because me and Jen, we bought 2 pairs, and we were just at Hillview a week or 2 ago. We used them there, and she heard somebody laughing in her ear.
Mm-hmm.
They pick up every little thing.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Fent is the one that had me try his.
Okay.
I was like, that was crazy. And then I ordered it that night.
Yeah, I didn't, like ACG's the one that told us about them, and that's
Yeah, I think that's how Fent found him.
I think
Heard
so.
about him is from him. I'm not sure, but
They're
Jeff
awesome.
had 2 of them, and I was walking around Madison with them on. I'm like, oh my god, this is insane.
Yeah, it's so cool just like listening to stuff through them. I was actually at Menards the other day, and there was another pair. I almost bought the last pair that they had.
Oh man, are they really that good?
Yeah, they pick
They're
up every little
insane.
sound.
Wow.
They're insane.
I need to order some.
Jeff said him and one of the girls that was at FCI, one of the guests, I forgot what her name was, but anyway, they had him on, and somebody had said something, and she heard it, and they were like a while, a pretty ways away.
Yeah.
But they heard other things, like when they were walking through FCI, just hearing things that you normally wouldn't hear. It picks it up, and I'm probably going to take them with me on Saturday. So,
oh man, Sean, if we ever get a pair of those, and I'm with you guys,
I have 2 pairs of them, Phil.
Really?
I just said that.
You did? My bad. I guess I missed that part. Anywho,
that means you can't be pooping on investigations, Phil, because I ain't trying to hear you.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, the pizza demons.
Oh, the pizza demons.
Oh man.
Oh no.
That's like when we were at Inspiration House, we made Brussels sprouts, and that probably wasn't a good idea.
Oh yeah. That was a moment of pride I had there that one night too. That was we were outside, and I ended up letting one rip, and Mikey thought it was Sean inside the house while the door was completely closed.
He was on the porch, and I was in the kitchen, and Mikey blamed it on me. I was like, that wasn't me. It was Phil.
Well, we were at Mansfield. This was years ago.
Jen.
And we were up in what's that area called, Barb?
I'm sorry, I missed what you said. I was
Well,
reading.
we were up in Mansfield,
Mhm.
sitting on the floor upstairs.
Oh, in the attic at Mansfield?
No, and where all the ceramic is on the floor, like in the main cell. Or Madison farted on the floor.
Solitary.
No, we were up on we're in the center of it. Tyler was there.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, Central Guard.
Yeah, Central Guard. And it was quiet as hell in there, and all of a sudden it was like, it's like, oh man.
No,
That
we
was a
never had
ghost.
problems like that.
That's how we got turtles.
That's
I love
funny.
using headphones on.
That's fantastic.
Boy, you're gonna have to. All these people that have these new headphones, you gotta remember, you gotta be nice, no matter where you are. Don't talk
Right.
shit about anybody.
Right. We'll be like, oh, I didn't say that. Oh, yes, you did.
I heard it.
I heard you.
I wonder how much these things cost on average. Not going to buy.
They're
They're like 20 bucks.
Yeah. The
I gotta
Bluetooth
order
ones are
some.
like 40, but yeah. The regular
Yeah,
ones are 20.
I didn't get the Bluetooth ones, and they were like 20 bucks.
That's
Now-
actually-
From Menards.
Elliot said that you're better off not having the Bluetooth, right?
Yes.
That's-
Well, he said it didn't matter, but if you wanted to plug in to anything,
yeah.
to have it, but everybody else, like Jeff Fent, has just got the regular ones, and
Yeah, did you try plugging like a spirit box into it? Because it's weird.
no,
Like,
I haven't even tried them yet.
okay.
I turned them on. I had them on at home, and
Did you see-
I have 2 dogs, so you know what I was hearing. No, it was more along the licking lines, but
So there's what, 5 different members in your group?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there like different roles for each person, or just everybody just does
No.
everything?
Not really, no. I mean, Chris is obviously the dowsing rod woman, but other than that, I mean, Madison, when she's been busy with work and everything, so it's really been a while since she's really been able to investigate a lot with us, but she's just more, she likes to feel and hear. She just, doesn't really care about the equipment so much. But
Right.
Nancy just likes to listen and experience as well. And Amy's got a little treasure trove of all her little toys she likes to use. So
That's cool.
it's fun. We
Yeah.
all just share our equipment. And
yeah, we're not all about we just go. I
Right.
mean,
Okay.
it's
That's
just
good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we
The less
like I
stress.
said, you want to experience it with each other, but it's nice to go investigate like what we did with you guys,
Mhm.
and just meet different people and really just going into these awesome buildings and learning the history and everything too. I mean, it's all of it for us,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Katie said this a little bit earlier here.
That would be fun.
That'd be awesome. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's
do
do it. I'm excited to tell you guys too, and it was funny. It was right after we all went together.
Yeah.
We booked Grand Midway for next June.
nice.
So we're gonna go back in next June and check that out because I mean, by the time we got there, we didn't have enough time to really investigate. We were all so pooped out,
And we were cold.
yeah.
It wasn't much warmer in there though either. But
Yeah, so
Well-
we booked it for June instead of in the winter months.
Well, I had the hand warmers.
There
So
we go.
I pulled them out of my bag and I just stuck them in the bed with me.
Yeah, that was a chilly night, but it was fun.
That building is so beautiful, though. I love it there.
Yeah, it
Oh, it's
is.
so cool. It's just you always you just want to look around, like even if you're not doing much, you just want to get lost in there. It's like, whoa,
Oh, I know. I didn't even get to see all the rooms.
No.
There's so much to see there.
So what is Katie talking about here?
Someone does milk that ghost to bring that sweet.
Sounds a little bit dirty here. What's going on?
Yeah.
Talking about the
That's
pink
we
box,
pulled
and now we got this
beads
guy.
out, Katie.
Oh, she's so funny. Oh, she's so funny.
Well, but that was the whole thing with Marcus and his live video when we were there. But Barb
Okay.
had coffee creamer, and it was a sweet cream coffee creamer. Well, they were teasing me because at Christmas time I had decorated Chuck.
Okay.
Well, I tried putting the Christmas lights in there, but you couldn't see them, so I had to wrap them up into the light bulb that's right here, and so it became his anal beads.
Oh,
Not by my choice. That
God.
came up somebody else's idea. So that's why it was Milk the Goat for the sweet cream.
Yeah, the things you talk about on Ghost Hunts.
Right?
Hey, you gotta. I mean, you gotta have fun. You really
Right,
do.
exactly.
And Phil's a pervert.
And I think that, like I said, that's why we had so much fun that last time we were there, is because we were just being goofy. It was stop it.
Well, I definitely believe that whatever energy you bring to a place, amps it
Definitely.
up too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're going to go in there and be an asshole and be negative, and it's just like you walking into a room full of people, you're
Mhm.
going to pick up with what you're putting out there. So
Sure,
Right.
absolutely. It's like you want to bring the respect and you want it back. Even if you get into a place where nothing happens, at least you went in there with I'm your guest and this is your home. Thank you for having me here. Even if nothing happened, at least you had a great time with the people you're surrounded with, and you get to look around at some cool stuff.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
I got friends of mine. I was talking to her the other day, and she had gone with us when we went to Gill House,
yeah,
and she says, Chris, she goes, just to hear you talk about these buildings, and she goes, I knew people did this. She goes, but to know that what your paranormal community does for these old buildings to preserve them. She goes, instead of just people ripping them down, you guys put so much heart and soul into doing this, doing something that you like,
Right.
and it's true. I mean, we've got so many friends that from doing this, and we're all from all different walks. We all do something different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's just fun, and that's what we like to do. And
yeah. I mean, I could even with Sean and I, we've been friends for 5+ years, 6, maybe even 7, and just being a part of something like this, the amount of friends that we've made along the way, holy crap!
Oh yeah,
It's amazing.
most definitely.
And then,
It's a great group of people. I mean, you all have pretty similar goals, like you said, Chris, as far as helping preserve these buildings and everything like that. It's good that, more people are noticing it and getting involved and buying up these buildings and keeping them. And
yeah, Exactly.
definitely, and that's one time you guys got to come out to Painesville, Ohio, and go to Riders Inn with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so you guys got to check that out.
Not sure if I ever heard of that place.
It's not been on any big TV shows or anything like that. You know, the owner keeps it kind of on the down low, but she will let you investigate. And we've been going there. God, we've been going there since we started doing this. We at least go once a year and do an investigation.
Our team meetings.
Whatever. But, we've been talking with her a lot, and she's opened up more to letting people come in and actually, kind of investigate and stuff. And, there's been some YouTube video, people coming in doing little documentaries and stuff like that. But we're going to have a psychic fair there in October, paranormal psychic fair. And I cannot believe the amount of people that are interested in this event. I was like, this is awesome.
This is just our second one.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
there you go.
it's awesome. I mean, I looked at it this morning and like 3,000 people are interested. I'm like,
That's awesome.
I mean, I'll be happy if 100 people show up, but just to keep, because it's good for her business. It's fun to get the people in. I said, but man, if we get that many people, we're going to have the readers doing drive-by readings or something, parking lot or something. But it's definitely a cool little place.
Well, Barb, you do like all the resin in that, right? Make the
What's
stuff
that?
With the resin. You make stuff with resin in that, right? Ain't that with the?
I'm sorry.
With resin, is that what you use?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do that, and I do my signs with my laser. So.
Laser.
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 Yeah.
I just watch her.
Hey, it works, doesn't it?
What is
Hey,
a bucket
looks
list
good,
place?
Barb.
Yes.
Jen, my bucket list place would be Romania, to go to Bran Castle, Transylvania. That would be Vlad the Impaler's castle. I want to go there. That's my bucket
That's
list.
definitely one of mine too, for sure.
Yeah.
I think anywhere in Europe, like just to go anywhere over there and just get in some of those buildings and those castles and
Definitely.
Oh
Yeah, we need to get like not just our group, like get like a big group and go overseas and do something like that. That'd be awesome.
That would be
love
amazing.
I want to go to Alcatraz.
Yes.
That would be cool.
There's a good one.
I would love to go to Alcatraz.
Yes.
And Sean knows my top place to go to is the Paris catacombs. I'm a huge fan of that location.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
And plus,
Yes.
one of my all-time favorite modern horror films, As Above, So Below, was actually shot there, and they got permission from the French government, I think, or the French authorities to actually film there. And it's like millions of bones stacked. And
I've seen that. That looks insane.
yes,
Yeah, I want to go to the Winchester Mystery House. That's like my main one.
Yes,
yeah.
that would be something
beautiful.
for sure. See, that's the thing. My bucket list is like a huge bucket.
Yeah.
It's a barrel list.
Yeah.
So what would you guys recommend us that we haven't been to?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Wilson
Riders for
Castle.
sure.
Wilson Castle?
What'd you say, Chris?
Wilson Castle.
Yeah, definitely Wilson Castle. Oh my God. I wish they still did them at Bisman, because that one is just.
There was a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, and really, I mean, we've been to several places, but there's so many we still have to go to yet.
Right.
Time and money.
No, have you been to Monroe House?
No.
Mm-mm.
That was probably one of my favorite places I've ever been. We had a
That's
lot of
cool.
activity there.
Where's that? That's in
Indiana.
Indiana. Okay, I get some of them confused. There's one. What's the
Indiana,
one?
the sanatorium at India is crazy.
Yeah, we're
ISS,
supposed to
yeah.
go there in November with Peggy.
That looks cool.
I was there twice for the cleanup. I went for the first cleanup and then Memorial weekend after that. And just being in there is just crazy. And like we investigated a little bit afterwards, but those buildings are, you feel it everywhere. It's crazy. I definitely would go there.
So do you prefer like that type of place, like a big asylum or a big prison, or would you rather do like a house?
I'm open to any of them.
Yeah.
I'm interested just to see what you can get wherever,
Because I mean, I think like with a house, like I like the intimate setting kind of, but
Yeah.
with something like a prison or something like Trans-Allegheny, like it's just massive and you just explore, and like that's part of the cool thing about paranormal investigation is just
Right.
exploring. Like I like not to like get myself in trouble, but when I was a kid, like we used to break in houses and like abandoned houses and go look around and shit like that. Like I miss doing that type of shit,
Yeah, it just depends because like Riders is a smaller place, but it's
so much
it's very
activity.
cozy, and it's welcoming. And even though there's I don't think there's really any negative spirits here. It's more of a protective, that's their house, kind of place. And I know that the owner, Elaine, she respects that. And that was a big thing we used to talk about when we talked about doing investigations and stuff there. She's like, she didn't want to do it where it overpowers and something that
It brings in negative.
Yeah, or the spirits wouldn't appreciate it. You don't want to overdo it, just keep it the way it is. She doesn't want to mess, upset the apple cart, so to speak. She likes it the way it is.
Have you dealt with any negative spirits?
Yeah, I can't really say. I mean, had some weird experiences that I can't explain. It felt darker, but
yeah. So you never felt like in danger or anything, or just like off, like I can't be here kind of thing? Or...
No, and like I said, I don't think it was negative at Wilson Castle. It just threw me for a loop. What happened there? It wasn't like evil scary. It was just different. But no, nothing really has ever. I will say the one place that I did feel a little uncomfortable in was House of Wills. I went on a tour, but I think knowing things that go on in that building, I don't.
Well, with the owner, but the neighborhood.
Yeah,
right.
I really I wasn't afraid of what the dead that was in there. I was afraid of
what could
being shot or something when you went outside.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
we know.
That's a definite pack when you go.
Right. Oh, sure.
So we didn't really have like anything happen at House of Wills. Like, there was a little bit upstairs, but it was kind of dead, no pun intended.
right.
That's the thing too. You just never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's like fishing. You're not always gonna catch something. It's just
exactly. And
one funny thing that did happen though is like an old member that was part of our team. He was like talking shit or something down in the basement, the sub basement, and we had an Ovulus on, and the Ovulus called him an idiot. So that was kind of funny.
They didn't even know.
You gotta love when that happens.
That's why you weren't getting anything. They're like, I'm talking to this idiot.
And the crazy thing is too, to capitalize on like the location, like I as well as April and Jen decided to leave early because I was beat. My energy just wasn't there that night for some reason. So we were getting our stuff into the van that I think April drove, but we were kind of taking our time a little bit. We see this car driving by, just, out of the blue, and then it turned around and stopped. And Mikey was actually helping us out. He's like, "Yeah, you guys should probably get the hell out of here." Thankfully, like the hotel was like, a mile and a half up the road, but it was just, like you guys said, Cleveland, it has its parts where you're just like, oh,
yeah, no doubt.
It's not. It, yeah, I would go in there if I knew I was going to feel safe.
Yeah.
With now, how many people, I would take my gun personally. I would take my gun.
Yeah, I don't personally carry one, but there's usually at least one person that has one on them, especially when we're in sketchy areas.
We'll have one more.
Well, and that was the thing too. When we went to House of Wills, we were just touring it because we know the one lady that does tours there, and she said, "Hey, stop up," because we were going to actually do a residential one.
Oh my
area, and that turned out to be very interesting, no doubt. I don't think they had spirits there, but they wanted to have spirits there. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think the first time we actually went to the Grand Midway, we met some of the, you meet some interesting people. Let's just say that much too. And, like you guys said, you go into like a new territory, you want to check out the surrounding areas. You're like, this is weird, but okay, That's why I like penitentiaries and sanitariums. You know, it's like, okay, well, I know what you are. I know where you're at, so I know what I'm getting. You know, we know what we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing with ISS is you're literally in the middle of nowhere, and it's just property, and there's no doors and there's no windows in some of these buildings, and now you're thinking like, who the hell is in here? You know? Because I know when Adam and them were there, Adam was like, they caught some kids and they're like, oh, we're just trying to, and they're like, no, you need to get the fuck out of here. You know? They were like sitting in a tree watching, and they thought they left, and the kids came down and got in, and I think that's where it's more scary, because like the main building, the admin building, the front door is wide open, and you're walking around like,
that's like,
and they have bobcats in there. Like Addie kept wanting to catch the bobcat. There was a bobcat kitten in there, and Addie's like, kitty. Dude.
That's like any like outdoor location, I swear, because like we've been to Lake Shawnee before, and then between animals, like there's bears and stuff out there. Somebody that was with us, not part of our group, that saw red eyes, and they think the animal, not something paranormal, but something's in the woods. And we've been to Dead Man's Hollow a couple times, which you got to worry about animals there too. It's McKeesport, which isn't a good area in Pittsburgh. Like we had a couple guns on us that night, but like, you just like we saw some guy, just because you have to walk down this big trail and then down to the woods, and we saw some guy late at night just wandering by, like probably a crackhead or something, who knows, but like it's definitely a sketchy area.
Oh, it is, absolutely. It's a cool area too to investigate. Same thing with like Dar Mine. That place is creepy at night, but that place is really cool.
And these are like outdoor locations, that ain't like supervised by anybody. Like, so who knows who's out there or what's out there, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
Have either of you two been to any place that you like heard it was like so much going on, but then you get there was crickets the whole night? Like nothing, or?
I mean, there's been a couple times at Mansfield, but on a public hunt, it's so hard to investigate on a public hunt, so you got everything echoes through that building. I mean, you could be at one end of the west cell block and hear something in the east cell block, so it just, I mean, there's been times there where it's been dead quiet there, but.
I think one of the crazy things that we had happen at Mansfield, Barb and Maddie and this John that was on our team, he scared the shit out of Maddie, and we were like on the top tier. We were the farthest up we could go, and Maddie screamed and dropped her walkie-talkie.
Oh no!
That walkie-talkie, we heard it smack down all the way down. So we go down there thinking, "There's no way we're gonna find that." The walkie-talkie, the batteries, and the cover were sitting on the bench on the bottom.
Oh, did it survive?
Nobody was around.
Nobody else. We were the only ones because we split up because you hear everything echo.
Okay.
But we heard that walkie-talkie hit everything on the way down, and we walked down there thinking, you're not going to drop a battery in your house and you can't find the thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And both batteries, the walkie-talkie itself and the cover were sitting side by side on the bench.
Yeah, that was weird.
We were like, there's no way. And it worked. We put the batteries back in it. It worked.
I thought you were going to tell the story of the bat up in the attic.
Oh, my God. This John we had on our team, he wasn't afraid of nothing. I mean, he would crawl in the darkest hole in the wall, go all the way to the back, nothing scared him. Nothing. Damn. We were in the attic. And I think it was when Dawn and her boyfriend and my friend Judy, they came. They decided, okay, we'll go with you, Chris.
Yeah.
So we're walking out of the attic. John's first, and we're like in a single line because we've already been up there for a while. We're going to leave. We hear this blood-curdling scream come from John, and we're like, this has got to be bad.
People were spooning each other.
All the way up because he stopped, and we all just were like moving. We spooned each other up. Here, it was a bat.
Oh. Hey, those bastards are creepy sometimes. I mean,
yes.
It sounds like Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey's that way too. He'll just go wherever.
Like, we're ghost hunters, and we're going in these dark, creepy spots looking for ghosts and spirits and bad things, and a bat will scare you. And then you won't go in. Like there was a bat at Greenville. Nobody went in the basement after that.
Madison, that one kept going back and forth. Remember, Phil? Every time he'd open up the door.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. He's just like in his own little world. It's like, don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, friends, you know.
Yeah, Jen was talking about Mikey though. Like he when we were in Monroe House, he crawled down underneath the house or whatever, and he had something moving underneath him, and he freaked out. That's like the only time I've ever seen him scared.
See, I wouldn't do it because of spiders.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
like
more
spiders.
claustrophobic, so I wouldn't do because of that.
Now, if there's a possibility of a spider being in there, I would rather come across a snake or a demon than a spider. Nope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no spiders.
Spiders I can't stand.
And that had to do with that bat too that she's talking about. Yeah, our old cameraman was doing his channeling thing, and he didn't even realize what was going on. We're all like running from this fucking bat.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Too funny.
You know what though? Like bats, like you ever see them like a small one up close? They're actually pretty cute.
They are so cute.
They are very cute.
Until they bite you and give you rabies.
Well,
Actually, it's funny how you mentioned that too, because I was watching a video on bats, and they actually have no interest in us. The only reason they bump into us is only if we are actually in their line of flight. You know, because they're not after like. You know,
they're trying to get away from us.
Exactly, and they have they can care less about us. You know, if they bite us, it's probably because we're too, we're just there. You know, but
they use like echo detection too. Like they can't even see them at all. So yeah.
Well, like everybody at Madison's afraid of them because when Adam first bought the building, he had 2 women that stayed there, like keepers. They stayed there, and a bat bit her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why.
See, like I said, I'd be more worried about rabies or something if I got bit.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's some big ass ones too that I've seen on TV. Like these things are like fucking huge.
Well, they're not around us.
Thank goodness they're not. Thank God.
You could be Batman, Phil.
I like that. I could show it. I could pull it off.
So do you guys watch any of the paranormal shows? You guys have any favorites or anything?
That was a big part of it with me and my daughter. When my daughter was younger, we would watch Ghost Adventures when it first come out and Ghost Hunters and all that. And I kind of, as we started doing it ourselves, we kind of got out of it, because you're thinking, oh Lord, what are they doing next?
Yeah.
But you watch it because you want to see another location or whatever.
That's exactly right.
Now that I'm working at home and I have TV, the Paramount Plus or whatever, I can watch all these shows again. So I'm kind of watching them all now. I love the Coen Brothers. I gotta say, I love the Coen Brothers.
I was watching. Nice. I was watching Fright Club last night. Actually.
Yeah, I just watched the new season of Fright Club today at lunch. The first one.
Good?
Yeah, it's not bad. I like watching them. They actually had Howie Mandel on. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
not Howie's in it.
It's cool when you see people on there that you actually know, because there's a couple of people I know that have been on them shows.
Right.
Yes. Well,
cool.
Mine I liked watching was Kindred Spirits.
Yes.
Okay.
I like watching them, and it just went out of my mind with Jack Osborne.
Oh, Portals to Hell.
Yes.
I like that show. That's
Oh,
really good.
and what's the other one? With the 4 of them, they're on the bus.
Destination Fear.
Yes, I like watching them. But I think, and most of it, I watch the ones that I can deal with talking.
Right.
I like to see the places that they have been to, or and then to see them go to a place that I went to, and
that's really cool.
see that they have the same experiences.
Right.
That's kind of cool.
I always like anytime we're like going to a new location or something, I always look stuff up and see what I can find. Even if it's like a YouTube video or whatever.
Get an idea. I think one of my favorite shows when we used to watch them, when we first started watching them, my daughter and I really liked Paranormal State. I did enjoy that one.
For sure.
That's a very good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys should check out on YouTube, Mind Seed TV Hunting Purgatory. I don't know how legit it is, but it's really good. It's 3 dudes. Their names are Casey, Tanner, and Colton. And then they get
Okay.
the most haunted locations, and something happens like every single episode. You're just like,
I don't think that show's real. I've seen it before.
Yeah,
It's too much, but
it's
entertaining.
It is. It's very cool, and I mean, a lot of this stuff is crazy. Like, rather, I mean, it's probably just bull crap, but it's fun to watch. It's really
Right.
It's kind of like one of them things where like everywhere you go has a demon or something like that.
Right.
Like it's just a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, actually, Saturday I'm going just to check it out with Jeff Fent to the Enchanted Church.
I'm so jealous.
Where's that at? Where's that at?
Sycamore, Ohio.
Okay.
It's like 2 hours.
Portals to Hell, right?
Yeah, it was just Jack Osborne was just there.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. It's a church. It's like 135 years old. It was like 1880 something, and this couple bought it and they made it to their house. So they live in this church.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
So we're just going out there. He invited me and I think 3 other people to go, just to go check it out. I don't know if they're starting to think about having investigations there.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Talking about the church or whatever. Did you go to the church in Grand Midway or no? Because he owns a church too.
No, yeah, because doesn't he have Anne Rice's dolls?
Yeah,
I didn't get to see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys definitely need to check it out because we actually, when we did Grand Midway, we did the church too. We got more activity at the church than we did at the actual hotel.
Because you guys went the next day, didn't you?
Well, I've been to Grand Midway.
Oh, that's right.
3 or 4 times. Me and Jen actually had our 1-year anniversary in the Vampire Suite there.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really
I've
cool.
been there a few times.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to going back in June. I definitely want. It'll be warmer then, so I'd like to see the church too. So that'd be cool.
Well, since there's no heat, I'm sure there's no air conditioning. We'll probably be sweating.
Right, yeah.
We'll like have boob sweat and all that.
The funny thing is when we stayed in that vampire room, there was a window air conditioner like in the window, and
cool.
it was in December or something, but I turned it on just because I wanted the noise.
So nobody could hear your 1-year anniversary.
So where are you guys headed next?
Well, actually, this Saturday we're going to help Greenville out just with a moving her sign or whatever, but like an actual investigation.
Are we doing anything in Gettysburg next month? I know we're going there.
We're going to the Gettysburg Bash.
Gettysburg.
I'm heading to Gettysburg on Monday. Woohoo!
Nice. Yeah, we're not actually investigating in there, but I mean, our next one actually, as of right now, is until September, I think. Which
Which one is that again? That's
Lake Shawnee again.
Oh yeah, Lake Shawnee, and then
we're going with Penn Paranormal.
Yeah.
Which they're at Waverly tonight. Like you guys know. Yeah. Because they said something about going to Waverly. I wish
I could have went.
Wish I could have went to. That's definitely on the bucket list. You guys ever been there?
No, that's on the list too.
Which that looks like one of the ones with all the windows,
Yes.
missing.
That's the one you're gonna be like, you didn't pay to get in here.
Oh man. Do you guys are you a fan of actual like haunted houses, like the entertainment kind of ones, or do you guys?
Those scare me more than the real ones. used to go. I go sometimes. Mansfield, we used to go to theirs. That was awesome.
I haven't been to one in a long time.
Yeah. They're fun.
Well, shit. Now they're stabbing people in them. So I don't know.
What
makes it more real.
Oh, shit. Damn.
You guys work at one, don't you?
Yeah, we both work for Scare House. Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's cool.
Yeah.
Same with Mancini too. That's how we know her.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I really enjoyed her. She was fun.
She was a riot.
Yeah.
Mancini's a trip.
Oh my gosh. Listening to her stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Her wrestling stories and the shit that she did. She's got to be a riot to hang out and drink.
Oh, she's awesome. She's so cool.
Yeah, we had her on the podcast back in the day. And
he said back in the day.
Shut up, Barb.
Well, we used to do this from Zoom, so it was like when it wasn't live, we used to record it or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that episode with her, we could have talked for hours.
Hours
and hours.
There's so many like interesting, like between like the wrestling and what she did is like an actual job, and like she used to play basketball for Duquesne. Like she's led an interesting life.
Yeah,
sure.
she's. And then we were sitting when we were eating dinner before we left. She's talking about being pregnant and having babies. It's like,
Yeah, she's super
What?
cool. I would love to get
Yeah.
together with all you guys again soon
Oh,
and do
for
another
sure.
investigation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when we were in Madison, we all hung out, went to the restaurant, drank a
Yeah.
little bit, had a good time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
well, you know where's another place that's fun to go to and then you can drink too is Hotel Conneaut.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
always
Hear
a
it.
fun one.
Have you did the honeymoon suite there before, like investigated?
We've been, yeah.
Okay, because yeah, me and Jen did that the one time. It was me, her, and my daughter, and we got a couple of cool things up there. Like one thing is we left the REM pod up, and just throughout the night and went to bed, and it started going crazy at one point. And then another thing that happened is my daughter, she's 18 now, but she was younger then, and she was trying to talk to the child spirit, which is Angelina is the name of the child spirit there.
Okay.
And I have an EVP of her, like talking to her, and you hear a little girl laughing. So
Wow.
that was pretty cool. Yeah.
We had cool experiences in the back hallway where that one, I don't know, there's a video floating around on YouTube where a guy was just camcordering through the hallway and you see a little boy.
I
Okay.
got a tricycle that
Turns.
goes down.
But yeah, we had experiences in there. Chris was using her dowsing rods, and we had a bunch of EMF detectors sitting on, everybody was holding on to them. We were all kind of spread out through the stairwell. And Chris was asking questions, and we asked if the little boy drowned. And that's when everything started lighting up. It was like, he started reacting to that. And we were thinking that maybe an air conditioner went on or something, because it was just going nuts. I'm thinking we're all going around looking for something that's causing this.
And there
but
was nothing.
it was crazy.
Yeah, Conneaut definitely sounds like a good idea because it's not that far from us, really. Maybe
It's
like
not far for us
hour
either.
and a half, maybe. Yeah.
An hour for me. So yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a good place for us all to catch up.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause
Barb, didn't you and what was her name with the dog? You guys had gone to bed, and
Angela?
then Angela and the candles.
Oh yeah, we were there for one of their paranormal fairs. I think it was there for an event, but yeah, we were both getting ready to go to sleep, and
well, you guys were trying to investigate in the room and put all your stuff away.
right, yeah, nothing was going on, so we were both like, all right, well, let's just try to crash or whatever. And I start hearing a noise, and I hear Angela go, "Barb, you awake?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we start listening, and we keep hearing this rattle, and we're like, "What the hell? Where is that coming from?" And we're looking around here. It was the handle on one of the dresser drawers. So we're like, okay. So we get the 360 out, and she got out her stuff, and then we had some interaction with a little girl, supposedly. So, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, there's always something in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame what they've done to that park, though. Like they tore down the roller coaster and everything else. Like I remember going there, like growing up for like family reunions and everything. And there's like
that was my
left.
first roller coaster.
The Blue Streak.
Really?
Yeah,
It was a good coaster too. It was fun.
Yep.
Devil's Den. I think I rode that 14 times
Devil's
in a
Den.
row. My niece and I would just run back onto the Devil's Den and get back.
Which hopefully they save that because I think that's still standing. I don't know if it's
It
open.
is.
It is.
Last I saw, it was.
Mhm.
That's cool.
My brother threw up on this spider.
Spinny rides. No, thank you.
We had the
I used to
Monongahela Monster, which was the same ride at Kennywood in Pittsburgh.
I used to be able to do them, but
Oh god.
age is taking care of that.
Yeah.
And me and Phil are actually going to Waldemere on Saturday after
I'm
we
so
do the
pumped.
stuff with Greenville.
Fun.
Oh, there you go.
Never been there before. Never heard of it until today.
It's a
Actually.
cool place.
They have a couple cool dark rides and stuff there. Like they have the Wacky Shack and the Pirates Cove and
Right, all the cool stuff that you loved as a kid,
Yeah.
That's so
the
cool.
Ravine Flyer's a good coaster there. Like
Oh
There
yeah.
you go.
Any looped roller coasters there or anything? Like
I don't know if there's anything that goes upside down. They have one that's like a spinning coaster. It's like a metal spinning one. But
I
Yeah,
can
I'm
try
with you.
that. I can't promise it's going to be a good aftermath.
Hey,
But try it.
Don't make sure you keep your camera on Phil.
Yeah. Oh, I used to be able to handle spinny stuff, but like it's a pain now. Like I mean, it's
Yeah, I can't.
like the Aero 360, there was an incident that happened a couple months ago where it got stuck upside down.
Oh no!
Like, nope.
That's a ride at Kennywood that
Yeah.
you dangle from. And
Oh,
What was
upside
the
down.
other one that used to, it was like the Gravitron that spun around and the floor dropped out? And
Oh,
you
yeah.
were stuck to the wall.
And they play like music and that in
Oh,
there. I've had
yeah.
2 really
Hotel.
bad experiences on that ride. Like
Oh,
one
I
time,
remember-
what's that?
because I grew up out in the country, so the one festival that we would have, the Maple Festival, I remember there was these Amish girls, and they got on that ride, and the one girl's dress like blew up, and she to the point she already couldn't move her hands up, and you could tell she was freaking out because her dress was just like up over her head, you know.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
It was like, oh my, because you used to be able to stand around the top of it and watch it.
Right.
It's like, and you could see her dress going up, and you see her hand trying to push it down, but it was like,
Oh man. But Sean, I do know that ride you're talking about too. I can't remember the name of it though. That ride was fun.
Which one?
The one that you were on and like it spins you around and the floor drops.
Yeah, well, I think you guys are talking more about the rotor, I think.
Yeah.
That's what it was
The
called.
rotor, yeah.
Gravitron is the one where the ceiling is, and they play music and the boards slide back and forth. And there's 2 bad instances
Yes.
I've had at that. One was I was at a carnival when I was in high school, and the guy was smoking a cigarette in the middle of the ride, just like as it's running. He just like left me on there forever too. And then there was another time when I was a little bit older, probably late 20s, early 30s, I'd say. And I was on that ride, and like, you know, I'm a bigger guy, and like the pressure from like just like I was having trouble breathing. Like my face was turning red. Like people that were with me were like, yeah, like you don't look good. Like I thought I was gonna pass out because it was.
Ooh.
I'll never go on that ride again.
Yeah. And wasn't it when it was at the Conneaut Park? Wasn't the rotor there? Wasn't it called the Devil's? No, the Hellhole. Was it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
I wonder whatever happened to that big dude. That would be something.
oh no.
Oh,
Barb and I have walked through that park
Yeah.
you know, while we were staying at Conneaut at the hotel.
They
And
don't
gone
let you
through-
do that anymore either, which sucks.
Well, it's because it's a new owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah,
walked
it was
through
fun out
all of
there.
it. We took pictures sitting on the train.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you go down where the old animals used to be? Because that area was really cool.
Yes,
The
we
caves and
went
that
over
were. Yeah.
there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super cool. We had some cool experiences in Conneaut Hotel.
Yeah.
That's so sick. We got to go back to Kennywood Fright Night. I love whenever like.
I have a season pass, so I could
That's
go
right.
whenever.
We should all have a
Years
Buffalo
ago.
Society night there.
Have you been to Kennywood?
I went there. I took my daughter. I think that was the first time I put her on a roller coaster and scared the shit out of her. Now you can't get her off of them.
Right.
Oh,
Yep.
it's so fun though. It really is. They have a new one now, a new roller coaster. I can't remember the name of it. The Steel Curtain. That's what it is.
Cool.
And I think there's like finally inversions in the damn thing too.
There's like 9 inversions, yeah.
Wow.
On any roller coaster, I love to either be in that very first car or the last car.
I
Yeah.
definitely like the first.
Like
for
the
sure.
Big Dipper at Yaga Lake, that last car used to be the best one because you'd come up out of your seat.
Mhm.
I missed Yaga Lake. My brother actually used to work for that park, so
That
My
was the
my
best part.
cousins used to, and so I would go there and spend like 2 weeks there, and then my 2 cousins worked there, so we would just get in for free and just.
Yeah, that was a great place.
mhm.
Oh man, that's so cool. I miss amusement parks. I really do.
I know.
You know, it's just like, how do you find the time to go to them half the time anymore? I mean,
Right?
especially
Or
doing
it's
this
too
stuff.
hot and humid and yucky and
Yeah. It's,
Showing your age, Barb.
yes, I am. Well, and it's funny. Todd and I were just talking about this last night. We got married in 2000, and the day after our wedding, we went to Cedar Point and rode the Millennium Force. And
Okay.
I don't think I could ride that now. Looking at it now, I've always been afraid of heights, but
Yeah.
now I'm more aware of what could go wrong, I guess. I don't know. But
Right.
I'm like, I couldn't do it now. But that ride was awesome.
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned heights too. Like I don't get freaked out by them if I'm secure, but if I know that there's nothing that's going to actually stop, prevent me from getting hurt, I'm like, can't do it. Because
I get
like I was in Las Vegas probably a couple months ago, and they had a skyline there. I can't remember if that's the actual name, but you're basically over the Grand Canyon, and you come out in this clear, like it looked like it was like a I don't even know how you like a podium or something like that, like a porch basically made out of glass, and you could look down and you're basically like so many feet up in the air. And my buddy was getting vertigo just out of the blue, and I thought it was the
that's-
great.
yeah.
See, I would go on that.
It was cool. It was really cool. It was cool.
I went to Vegas with my boyfriend I was dating a few years ago. It was my Christmas present was the Vegas trip to Vegas. And so when we went to the top of the stratosphere, and I was like, I wanted to ride those swings that went off of it.
Yeah.
And he was like, nope. But he was going to go with me anyway. So he bought 2 tickets and we got up there. And I got up there and I'm like, mm-mm. Well, there was a younger couple that was there. He rode roller coasters all the time, on any ride. His girlfriend had never been on a roller coaster.
Oh, wow.
I gave her my ticket, and my boyfriend and her went on her very first ride was that swing over the top of the stratosphere. I was like, mm-mm. I'm like, I'll do anything, but for whatever reason, I was like, nope, I can't do it.
Yeah, I've never been on that. I know what you're talking about in Vegas, but I've been to the one in New Jersey at Six Flags. They have a giant wave swinger, and I thought it was more relaxing than anything. Like it didn't really bother me.
Yeah. See, I love I went parasailing 2,000 feet in the air. I went on a slingshot. I want to skydive.
Yeah, me too.
But I couldn't get my ass on that swing. Maybe if I had a little more liquid courage on me, I probably would have. But we were.
I might do it then.
Huh?
I might do it then.
Oh man.
Feed me a few mudslides, I guess.
Oh, that night that we all went out to get drinks. Whew.
Oh yeah, what was that? Cinnamon toast crunch shots or what?
Yeah, it was. What was it? Fireball and rum chata.
Rum chata, yeah.
Oh, man.
That was good.
It was good. That was Sue and Ken's thing.
Yeah. Andrea that was with me, she actually bought some for her 4th of July party. She sent me a picture of her shot. She's like, look what I got. I'm like,
I knew I should have stayed.
You
Yeah,
should
We
have.
had so much fun, Chris. So much fun.
Well, we were
But I was
going
like
to go.
2.5 hour ride in a rainstorm.
yeah, it was good.
We were going to go to a cemetery after that, but it started doing that. It started pouring down and all that, so we didn't end up going.
Yeah. That was fun though.
Then we went back to the hotel, and I was telling Sean and Jen, I'm just going to take a nap for about an hour. No,
No,
never
an hour
do that
later.
after you drank. It doesn't work. Oh,
Nice
man.
fan, Chris.
What?
Nice
Nice
fan.
fan. I like the fan. It's actually really cool.
But you guys talking about going on an investigation with Peggy. We're going to be going with her in October to Middle Point School.
Oh,
Okay.
where's that at?
That is in Ohio. I think it's Western Ohio.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting. I think it's about 3 hours from where we're at. So another one to look forward to.
Yeah,
I love
Peggy's
investigating with Peggy. She is awesome.
she's so cool.
I think one of our first actually podcast episodes was with Peggy, like back in the day.
Back in the day.
Oh man. Yeah, she's one tough cookie when it comes to walking into these places. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, Peggy.
Oh yeah.
You know what she says why? It's because she doesn't feel anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if she doesn't feel it, there's nothing for her to be afraid of.
Right,
That's a
right.
good way of putting it. Yeah. Damn.
I
It's
still
funny.
don't think I could. I don't think I could do it by myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I could.
Certain,
Well,
certain places.
Depends on the location, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
like I
I
can
think
do riders, no problem. But
yeah.
I don't know about.
Well, that's the first night that Inspiration House, April stayed there by herself the first night. She got there a day early.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
But that place is like a calmer type of place, but
Yeah.
something like something that like Monroe or Bel Air that's had reported demons. I don't think I'd want to stay there by myself.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't think so.
Yeah, there's some places. Well, even at Wilson Castle, I think even if they would have left me there, I would have been able to sleep there. I think. I don't think I would have been.
Yeah.
She
No.
just was. it just affected her so differently.
Yeah, I've never had that happen before.
Is that the one that, I don't know if it's Wilson or Franklin, but what is that the one that had a possession at it or something? Or is that Franklin maybe? Like it was on one of the shows. Like I don't remember which show.
Yeah, I think that's
Was it
Franklin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that has a history of possession, I'm not staying by myself.
No, thank you.
But yeah, Wilson, if you ever get the chance, definitely put that on your list because it is really something to see.
Which, talking about the whole possession thing, you guys ever had any attachments or anything?
No, I have not.
I don't believe so.
That's good.
We're usually pretty good with certain places. Like if we feel uncomfortable from the beginning, we usually do a prayer.
Okay.
And then before we leave, we do one.
Right.
Because there has been a couple times I think I'm like, man, Barb, we need to,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing too. Like I think, even if you don't have any fear, this always kind of brings you a peace of mind because you're walking into a place where you've never been to before. You have no idea what it's capable of doing. Even if you know that nothing's going to happen because of the history of it, like, Inspiration House, it's just always, it makes you feel better. I still say, a prayer and all that stuff too, because, I grew up as a Lutheran and getting into the whole ghost thing, I still think it's an appropriate thing to do, but that's just my own personal choice.
Yeah,
exactly. Everybody's got we go in with our protection, we always, and
we have all our crystals and
absolutely.
What are your religious beliefs?
It's always that question too. It's like,
No, I believe in God. I do, and I think we all question things sometimes, but yeah, I believe in God. And
I mean, I do believe in God, and like I said, when I was younger, this woman that has just been with me, she's always been a huge comfort to me. It's so weird because I don't actually see her like physically, but in my mind I do. And so her cemetery, because it was an old country where we lived at, and so families buried their families in the cemeteries behind them. Her headstone was there. So it's so hard to say I believe in God because my mom was brought up strictly Catholic, so it was like, nope.
I was raised Catholic too.
Nope. Right. But we're all energy. It's got to go somewhere. And it's hard because sometimes I'm like, well, how could God let something like that happen? But I don't know. What about you guys? Well,
I was raised Catholic, but I mean, I believe in God for sure, but I don't practice anything. And it's weird because like, my mom was Catholic. My dad, he was Episcopalian. My grandfather actually on his side was a priest. But my dad was kind of atheist growing up, but towards, the end of his life, he started going back to church and everything. But, I don't know. Like I have 2 kids and I don't really try to force religion on them. Like I don't believe in like forcing religion on your kids. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, I'm Lutheran, grew up Lutheran. I still am. Like I do believe, I think I'm a lot more, I don't want to say accepting, a lot more like, I accept it more now than I ever did. Because obviously as a kid, you get forced to go to church. You think it's boring. You're going to fall asleep. Now that I'm in my late 30s, I realize like, wow, there's a reason why. And I've experienced enough in my life to believe in it even more than I ever have. Even though a lot of the things that I enjoy in life are not necessarily like of the church,
right?
Like haunted houses, heavy metal music, horror films, dressing in dark colors all the time. But to me, it's all art. But when it comes to my own like beliefs, I am not afraid to admit I am a Christian. Right. I don't force anything. It's more of a personal choice. I mean, I just like Sean said, I would never tell somebody, oh, you have to do this or you should be this. You do what you feel like, if it brings you peace of mind and going back to a previous podcast, I've met some of the best believers ever. I met atheists or even like, Satanists who are some of the best people I've ever met just because of the type of person they are. Because there's bads and goods on both ends of the spectrum. People can have a great life without religion. People can have a terrible life with religion. You never know.
I mean, religion always ties in with paranormal. That's why I always ask that question.
Exactly.
The great thing is, I could be sitting here right now praying. You don't have to go to church.
Right.
Exactly.
For him to hear you, because if he's God, he's going to hear you wherever you're at. It doesn't matter that you're in this one specific building.
Exactly.
And even if we go into a place and I'm feeling unsafe, and I could be saying a prayer to myself.
Right.
Did you change something? I can't really hear you that well.
Yeah, it sounds little. I don't know if it's the microphone or. Yeah, you sound very like
tinny, echoey kind of.
Yeah, I didn't change anything.
Okay, I don't know. It's weird. Is it like that with you too, Barb? She sound like that with you?
Yeah, she sounds tinty.
Okay, so we're not going crazy then. Chris.
There's always one in the group. I just always happen to be that one.
Oh, that's way too funny. But yeah, it's like Sean said, there's always like a correlation of religion and paranormal. And I think it's actually a cool thing too, because I've met a lot of investigators who are still very involved with the church and stuff. I mean, last time we talked with who was it? Angie and Nick, I think.
Yeah.
I brought up I brought up the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren. They were very, devoted Roman Catholics. And I just got done watching this group called Overnight, where they investigated the Warren Occult Museum. And the guy who actually helped run it was actually the son-in-law of both Ed and Lorraine. And he was giving them holy water and telling them recite this, imagine a white presence around. And, not everybody's into that type of thing, but it helps them out a lot. And that's great. And plus, so it's always a.
I think whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Exactly. If you don't want to do a goddamn thing, don't do a goddamn thing. Just go in there, have fun.
I mean, because we all investigate differently, so.
Right.
I mean, we like to be goofballs at the time. As long as you're being respectful and not a dick, you're good.
Right. Exactly. And I know a lot of people. Some religions, they feel that everything in this realm is all demonic. It's all demonic. And I disagree with that because I've seen too many positive experiences with it. Right after my dad passed away. About a week after he passed, my husband went back to work. My daughter went back to school. And I was sitting at the dining room table at my computer, farting around on Facebook, whatever I was doing. But I just got really overwhelmed with grief and started crying, was really missing him. And I got really upset and I slammed my hands down on the table and there's no damn chocolate in this house. And right when I did that, my daughter took my dad's tin when he passed. He had a tin of Hershey's Kisses. He'd always give you a Hershey's Kiss. He always had them with him. Well, it was on the kitchen counter. And when I slammed my hands down and said that, something clicked on that tin. There's chocolate right here. So it was my dad was telling me that, but so to me, I don't think a demon's going to do that for me. I don't
exactly.
That was my daughter was taught, they were younger. It was in 2001. My daughter was talking to my brother on the phone and they were goofing around, joking around. And Courtney just handed the phone to me and she didn't say goodbye or anything. And about a month later, my brother committed suicide.
Oh, Jesus.
And my daughter was devastated. She's like, I didn't tell Uncle Ronnie I loved him. I didn't tell Uncle Ronnie I loved him. And she just was he committed suicide in February.
Right.
And
sorry to hear that.
So she was like a mess for over a month. And then all of a sudden one day she comes down the stairs and she's like, morning. I'm like, okay, how are you? She's like, I'm good. She goes, but you know what, Mommy? She goes, I had a dream last night. She goes, but Uncle Ronnie scared me. I'm like, he scared you? She goes, yeah. He goes, he came out of my closet and he sat down on my bed, and he said, honey, I know you love me, and I want you to tell everybody I'm sorry. And he was just talking to her. She goes, but the weird thing is, Mommy, is he had like a mustache and like hair, because she was only, I don't know, 10 maybe.
Yeah.
So, but he had like beard, hair on his chin and a mustache. In the last picture we have of him, he was clean shaven at Christmas.
Okay.
Wow.
So I called my stepmom and I told her, and she got really quiet. And she's like, Chrissy, he grew that after Christmas.
Wow.
Oh, really?
And she was just completely, she felt fine. So no, he came to her to tell her that,
Mm-hmm.
he was good. He knows she loves him. Something bad, not going to do that.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No.
And it's to add on to another story, my granddad's youngest brother, he passed away probably, I want to say 8 years ago. He had prostate cancer. He was really big into the church. He was like the nicest guy ever. Because my granddad was one of 4. I think the first brother to pass away was the second youngest, I think. And the day that he passed away, I think my dad told me this. My great uncle Tom, his wife and their kids, and then all the siblings, my pap included, they all got phone calls at the exact same time from their own house, and there was nobody on the other end of the receiver. And
Oh, wow.
my pap thinks that it was his brother Tom saying that he was okay.
Wow.
And then a few years ago, my grandfather, Ronald, passed away, my dad's dad, and he was a big fan of like Dean Martin and stuff. And his gravestone is, I think, where the cemetery lane is. He liked to drink American Light. That was his go-to alcoholic beverage. And he liked to listen to Dean Martin. He was like a great guy, just a lovely man. And it was my Uncle Dennis, who was my dad's youngest brother, his wife and 2 kids. They were sitting by the grave, and they had a little like boombox with them. They were playing like a song. It was like a Christmas like song. I can't remember, but it stopped randomly, and then a Dean Martin song came on and played.
Isn't that crazy?
To end, and then the other song continued on where it left off. They were like, "Thanks, Pap."
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but it's just like that's just, it's like you guys said, like any instance where like a family member's trying to get let you know that everything's fine, they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I've had a couple different things like that happen, which I've told the stories before, but.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things is like we were at Hillview Manor, and when me and Jen were leaving, like it's real late at night, and I think the Oldies channel was on. Or I mean, it had to be the Oldies because the House of the Rising Sun, that song.
Yeah.
Love
that song came on, and that was my mom's ringtone. So that was weird that right when we left, that came on. And another thing, talking about the phone thing with my dad, when my dad passed, October 13th is like a special day for us because like. My dad actually had his kidney transplant October 13th. He lived another 10 years after that. Friday the 13th, too. But also, my daughter's due date was October 13th. She wasn't born on that day, but that was her due date. So the year after my dad died, he died in 2011. So 2012, because he died in December. On October 13th, which I still have the recording on my phone, I had a missed phone call from somebody. And it sounds like my dad talking. You can't tell what he's saying, but it sounds like his voice. And like my brothers heard it. My mom was still alive at the time. She heard it. My daughter, like they all thought it sounded like my dad. So that's
wow.
Crazy. That's crazy. Wow.
Well, I think my daughter has abilities. She was up in my room watching TV, and the phone kept ringing.
Yeah.
And then it would just stop. It kept ringing. And all of a sudden, she comes downstairs and she's like, Mommy, I just seen this really short lady, really black hair, like black eyes, like makeup, walk past your mirror. I'm like, really? Well, the phone rang again, and I picked it up. And it was a friend of mine telling me that my best friend's mom had passed away.
Oh, jeez.
And so I called their house, because Dana at the time lived in a different state. And she said, I was just thinking about you and wondering why you hadn't called me yet.
Wow.
Her mom was like 4 foot, always dyed her hair jet black, and she used her eyeliner for eyeshadow. Her eyelids were black.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
It was like,
Wow.
it was so weird. Courtney described her to a T.
Wow.
To a T.
Yeah.
It's
My gosh.
crazy.
You know, and the crazy thing is too, like all of us, no matter who you talk with, they're going to have some experience with something like that. You know, even if you're not a believer, you know,
Right.
it's like I can't tell you what I just saw. You know, it's like, here, tell me. You know.
Well, that's so common with, like, say, people you work with or just somebody off the street. Like, oh, you do that type of stuff? Well, I have a story, you know. And even if they don't believe, they still have a story. Because the thing is, like, I was on a podcast last week with a friend of mine, and he doesn't really believe, but he told me 3 different stories that happened to him that, you know, like he's not sure of, you know.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's
And
like,
they just don't want to accept it.
right.
Right. Right.
They don't want to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I always like, and I always like to think, like, God's probably like, oh yeah, here, let me show you something here. You know,
Yeah, right.
You know, a little bit.
This.
Oh yeah, right here, check this out. Oh, he has a sense of humor. You know, he does. He created us. I mean, come on now, you know.
I have something I can't explain, and it's not a big deal, but to me it is, I guess.
Yeah.
My dad loved he has a mantle clock that he always had on our fireplace. Well, I have that clock, and I had it in our living room for the longest time, and I didn't realize you couldn't move the hands on the face, that you had to do it from behind. So I screwed up the clock. And it stopped working. Well, my husband tried messing with it. I got to take it and get it fixed. But I brought it up into this room up here. And when it did quit working, I look at it now, and the time on the clock that it stopped at was the time that my dad passed away. So I haven't touched it. It just sits up there. I'm like, no, I'll get it fixed someday when I have a fireplace I want to put it on. But for now, I'm just going to leave it right there.
There's so many like weird coincidences like that. I mean, like even like the day that my mom died, like she died on January 2nd, and my daughter's mom was born on January 2nd. So like just like weird stuff like that, like when you're connected like that, you know, like I don't know, like there was another instance too, but now it like kind of slipped my mind. But like I don't know, it seems like a common thing. Like I know what it was. Actually, my mom's friend who actually just passed. I'm actually supposed to go to her viewing on Friday. She was 104 years old.
Wow.
She died on the same exact day her husband did 35 years ago. Like that's crazy. Like shit like that, you know?
Jeez,
that is crazy.
You just never know. It's, you know, life is the most interesting, complicated thing out there. That's why, you know, whenever people say, you know, this might be taking a bit of a weird turn, but like, are you afraid of death? No, I'm not. There's no reason to, because I'm going to be, you know, I'm here for a temporary period of time. I got to do my time here, and then, you know, God can take me up when he wants me to. Hopefully I can go up to the part that I want to go to. But you just don't know, you know, this life is so, you know, there's like so much stuff going on in this world. It's just like, well, I can't put an end to any of it. I got to live my life best I can. You know, get up in the morning, and if I can go to bed knowing that like nothing bad happened, then it's been a good day. You know?
Right. Yeah, everything is it's crazy right now.
Oh yeah,
too much craziness.
Well, I had it was before Christmas. A friend of mine. I went to school with both of them, but they had been together since junior high.
Wow.
And he got killed on his motorcycle in September. And it was over a year, but Nancy always goes to Florida, and her and Danny always went to Florida in the wintertime. And I woke up like with a dream, and I had dreamed that I seen Danny walking through a field, and we were talking, and he goes, I need you to tell Nancy I love her. I'm like, okay, Danny, I will. Well, for 3 days straight, at night, during the day, it would pop in my head, and it was there, and I kept hearing him, you need to tell Nancy I love her. So finally, I'm like, I gotta call her.
Yeah.
So I called her. I'm like, Nancy, this is going to sound really crazy. I said, but Danny's been coming to me for like 3 days. It started off with like a dream, and it just keeps coming. He wants me to tell you he loves you. She started crying because they had a friend that had been married for a long time, and his wife had passed away like 6 or 8 months before Danny did. So they had been like talking with each other, and they decided they were going to try to start a relationship. And she was worried that whole week. She was worried Danny was going to be mad at her.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she was like, oh my God.
It was like confirmation for her that everything's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
That's crazy.
It was weird. It was so weird. It was, because like I've been talking to Barb about it. It's like stuff like that's been happening to me lately. And I don't know if it's just I'm starting to get more aware
Right.
of things. And then once I told Nancy that, Danny hasn't been back since.
he got his message to you.
There we go.
Like, damn you. You harassed me for 3 fucking days.
Yeah, right. You bastard. You know?
Right?
Oh, man.
Well, I know we touched on it a little bit, but what's upcoming for you guys?
Oh, Riders In.
Okay.
We
Mm-hmm.
got that coming up October 1st, our paranormal psychic fair. That'll be fun.
Nice.
I hope it doesn't get too crazy. Drive-through readings.
Oh, boy.
No, it'll be good.
Ordering food like Chick-fil-A. Here you go.
I can't get into Chick-fil-A. I can't get into them.
I don't
I just had
either.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A
what else we
yesterday.
got?
I don't know,
We
man.
got, We got Middle Point School coming up in October with Peggy.
Yes.
I got invited to Hillview Manor in October, so I'll be doing that too.
Awesome.
And then HillCon, and you guys will be at HillCon, right? We'll be there.
Yep.
I got it.
That'll actually be our first time. All 7 of us are going to be together at one of these.
Oh,
events.
nice.
Hey.
That'll be cool.
That's the 13th, I think, right, Sean?
Yeah, August 13th.
Yes.
August 13th, that's right. I'm
That'll be
pumped
fun.
for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, we have good times doing that. We have a lot of good stuff coming up. It's like,
Yeah.
I was even telling Sean, since, like, becoming a team, like, my calendar has been filled up with stuff.
Yep. It's crazy how that happens. It
I
goes
love it,
from
though.
nothing to
And
10
you go
things in
through
a
like
month, you know?
routes where there's
Yes.
like nothing, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy hell.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
You
guarantee
guys
all
coming
of
out
us.
for MadCon?
What is it again?
You guys coming out for MadCon?
What's the
At the
date on that?
seminary?
September.
Let me look at my calendar. September.
Because I think something's going on that day.
Yeah.
September 17th.
I don't know if we have anything, Sean. I can't remember.
That might be. I think that's Lake Shawnee. I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the weekend we're at Lake Shawnee. And then the week afterward, Hearst Mania for a convention,
I love
which
Hearst
is actually at Jen just said we have Shawnee that day.
Yeah.
But then we have Hearst Mania that weekend after, which we actually got invited to come be investigators for Crescent for their public thing, but it was like we already had that booked. Like, we're not going to blow it off. So.
Yeah.
Especially because we've been doing Hearst Mania, like we've done them last year or two or whatever, and it used to be at Monsville. Now it's out at Trans Allegheny, but that's always fun, and we know the owner and that he's really
That'll
cool.
be cool.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Cool, cool, cool.
We definitely should meet up at Hotel Conneaut
Yeah,
before
for
they
sure.
tear it down.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to plug?
Woo.
Where can we
What's
find
it
you
got,
guys at? What
Well, we
social
have
media
our-
you guys on?
On Facebook, we've got the Paranormal Gathering page. It used to be named after our team, but then we made it public. So we just share stuff on Paranormal Gathering page. So,
Excellent. Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
Yay.
And then, come out to MadCon. That's always good.
Yeah.
People come to that. That's always good for Adam and Mad Crew. They're raise money for cystic fibrosis. So that's always a good thing to check out. And
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely got to admit, like, there's just, like I said, there's always stuff going on. We got to make it out to there.
definitely.
It won't disappoint you, that's for sure.
That is for sure.
My life.
Well, the
used to
funny
be
thing
so
is-
boring.
He's from Dormont, actually, which is like, I grew up in Beachview, so like we're pretty much neighborhood next. Like, I didn't know him before that. I've met him in Madison before, but it's crazy that we like pretty much live neighborhood next to neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah.
You need something else.
I love it. I love it.
But I want to thank Jens for coming on.
Well, thank you for having us.
You guys are awesome. Yay!
Look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Yeah, we'll see you at HillCon, and
Here's
maybe we
Chuck.
can set that Connie.
Yes,
Should've brought out
HillCon.
Pumpy
That'll be
Phil.
fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to redeem myself for all the other moments I didn't wear Bumpy, but it started out that I did wear him at the Greenville Manor, that was a little provocative. Just saying. So I gotta
We
get
just
my.
wore Phil out.
It's all right. I'm the token single guy of the group, so what else am I gonna do?
But yeah, we'll definitely that Conneaut thing. We should set that up like
Yeah, we
hopefully pretty
should.
soon.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Hell yeah.
Cool beans. Sounds good.
Hang out in the Spirit Lounge.
Yeah, for
Mhm,
sure.
girl.
Drink some spirits.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Spirits and spirits.
I'll be the first one to get hello.
I don't know.
I was pretty.
I've been drinking these all night.
That's why you're so
You
excited.
got a drink to put up with Phil.
No, I drink to put up with Barb.
Oh,
Well, step off.
Sushi
I might have
from
some wine later. So
There you go.
yeah, I love it.
Well, I only started to have those because I was so nervous about coming on.
Nah.
Yeah, I had an Angry Orchard beforehand.
Oh,
Calm the nerves a bit.
It's not that bad. A little
Well,
sweet.
I mean, you guys have hung out with us, met us before. Like, it's one thing when you don't know the person. It's definitely more
Right.
awkward.
Yeah.
True.
We're fun. We have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us again. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. It was fun.
Thanks for coming on.
It was fun.
Thank
And
you.
we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Sounds good.
See ya.
Yeah.
Did you hear the bump in the night?